Good morning, delegates. Welcome to you
Good
all
morning, sir.
for the second day of the PPA webinar. We have with us Dr. Larissa Martha, and we also have she could not join. On her behalf, other person is joining. Before the panelist introduces the speaker, we are waiting for one panelist, and people are joining. 278 people have joined just now. Let us wait for a minute, then we can proceed. Meanwhile, Dr. Larissa, madam, can you please introduce the speaker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sure. And today the topic that will be dealt by the speaker is mainly related to the intensive care unit management of the coronavirus patients. As coronavirus disease spreads across the world, the intensive care unit community must prepare for the challenges associated with this pandemic. Streamlining workforces for rapid diagnosis and isolation, clinical management, and infection prevention will matter not only to the patients with COVID-19, but also to healthcare workers and other patients who are at risk of nosocomial. So managing the key issues of the patients, the hemodynamic monitoring, the governing of the managing the ICUs, the critical care triaging, all there are more challenges facing the nurses who are managing the patients in the ICUs. So today, to shed light on this matter, we have with us an eminent person from MGM Hospital, Navi Mumbai, Miss Priyanka Anil Kedekar, who is working as an infection control nurse and who has completed her graduation as well as post-graduation from the MGM University, Navi Mumbai. And she has worked in the clinical area as an infection control nurse and as well as overseeing the various protocols and the clinical management of patients in the hospitals. And she has to her credit also the experience of having the additional qualification with regard to the NHCA, that is National Healthcare Academy, that is with related to the quality care of the patients. I think we are having an eminent person among us who to shed light on the management of the patients in the ICUs, because the MGM hospital is also one of the designated COVID dedication center. So she is exposed to the various challenges that is faced by the nurses, the practice protocols. So, Ms. Priyanka, it is our pleasure and privilege to have you with us as a panelist in this PPE session.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a great introduction. I'm Ms. Priyanka Kedekar. Will be like to share whatever experience we have in our hospital with you all. We're looking forward to the same, ma'am. Should we start? Hello. Should we start, ma'am?
Please proceed, Ms. Priyanka.
Yes.
Yeah, please proceed.
So,
Please
being an
start.
infection control. Yes, yes, sir. Being an infection control nurse since this COVID started, almost 2 months from now, when we are hospital was designated a dedicated COVID care hospital, and we have faced many challenges with respect to the man, material, money, what we have learned in administration. Apart from that, the social stigma we have faced, the staff psychological imbalances we have faced, and we have came across a long way now, and we are trying to sort out each of our difficulties with great efforts, with great knowledge and guidance given by our seniors. So out of that, I will just share my views, which we are practicing in a hospital, that is personal protective equipments, basically PPE, the donning and doffing, all disinfection protocols which we follow as per the guidelines given by CDC, WHO, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Then our ICU setup, which we have created with respect of the guidelines given by same ministry and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So I guess we'll start with PPE. We have what we have done with the PPE is, ma'am. First of all, we have made a group of nurses for which before entering to the COVID area, they will be have this particular training session based on PPE, hand washing, all the contact precautionary measures, biomedical waste management, and The other ventilatory support or the ICU training, which will be given to each one of our nurse, and the documented process is being followed. Now, with the PPE donning and doffing, what we have is we have a, in our setup as a dedicated COVID hospital, we have a triage area. Triage area means where every patients of our community or who will be the visiting the hospital will come first, will be screened there with the temperature and other vital parameters. Then the patient will be triaged from there based on his clinical symptoms, either into the COVID part of the hospital or to the non-COVID part of the hospital. Our hospital has been divided into two zones basically, red zone and green zone. That is COVID zone and non-COVID zone. Am I going too fast? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Proceed.
Yeah, am I going too fast?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No.
Yeah, yeah. We can hear you well, clear.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, our hospital has been divided into two zones,
Yeah,
that is
it's very
COVID zone
clear.
and non-COVID
Please
zone. So
proceed.
for,
It's very clear. Go
yeah,
ahead.
okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. So basically, the triage or the screening OPD, which comes into the red zone or the COVID area, where the patient will be screened, irrespective of the COVID symptoms or non-COVID symptoms. All the patients will be screened there first. Based on that, they will be shifting to the COVID area or non-COVID area of the hospital. Now, in the COVID area also, we have divided into as per their symptoms, that is mild, moderate, and severe symptoms. We have a ward setup. We have an ICU setup. We have a 30 bedded ICU ready with each equipment in our hospital, and we have more 180 to 200 bedded hospital, each with oxygen facility and the separate area for the same. Now, when we look at the guidelines, they says that for the COVID patients, it has to be a separate room which should be given. Yeah, properly ventilated. But in case if we don't have, then guidelines also suggest the way out of it. That is, if we don't have a air conditioning facility, we can create a negative pressure rooms. Now, how do we create that negative pressure rooms in one room? Is with the help of exhaust fans, and that's what exactly we have done in our hospital. Now we do have a centralized air conditioning setup of ICU, but as it doesn't come under our red zone, so what we have done is we have a cubicle system in our ICU with the double door entry, where you can prevent or we can prevent and maintain all the infection control practices with that double door entry. Now, what do I mean by double door entry is we have a room, we have an anti room attached to each cubicle, in which each cubicle will be having this exhaust fans maintaining your negative pressure. Now, as we all know, COVID-19 is not a airborne; it's a droplet precaution. Still, we try to maintain both airborne and droplet precaution and contact precautions for all our staff and for all our patients. So as I mentioned, this exhaust fan has been placed in each cubicle maintaining negative pressure. Now, when we come to the ward, this is for the cubicle system. Now, each and every time we don't be we are source constraints. We are resource constraints. So what we can do in case of ward setup is we can just divide our wards. Now we have a if patient has this room sort of or a cubicle sort of ward system, it is very easy for them. But with the open ward system, it becomes a great difficulty to manage the patients. With that case, if you don't maintain the negative pressure, you just have to think and look for the ventilation purpose for the patients. Now, how do we maintain that ventilation? Is we have a air entry. We need to check the air entry, right? From the both the sides of that room has to be open and the keep and ventilated. So that one point we kept in mind while shifting our patients into the open ward. Triaging, the ICU setup, ward setup. Now, other than this technical and mechanical or engineering controls, basically, we have an administrative control, we have an engineering control. Now, apart from these engineering controls, what else we have tried, what else we have sorted is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has given one checklist. Like if you want to start any ward for COVID patients or in case of non-COVID patients, you have to follow that checklist, which includes the availability of PPE. You have to ensure the availability of PPE, availability of disinfection and hand washing material in your hospital, then training of your staff. These are the main 3 points. So we have ensured all of them. Proper hand washing facilities, like outside the hospital, outside the triage area, outside the ICU, outside the ward, each way we have arranged for the hand washing facility. Now what do I mean by hand washing is not just use of hand rub, but a proper hand washing solution and the hand washing facility for the same. So that we have arranged. And a PPE. Now PPE, when it comes to PPE, the most important thing is your doffing area, like your donning and doffing area. That also we have managed. We have tried to manage very well. That we have our donning area separate and a doffing area separate. Now what do you? Hello. Yeah, now what do we have to concentrate in case of donning doffing area is it should not be mixed with your obviously it should not be mixed with your where your patient belongs to, where your nursing station belongs to. Now a donning area should be separate, then the nursing station and doffing area need to be attached with the washroom facilities. Staff can be very well disinfect themselves, clean themselves before going out from the hospital. So we have taken into consideration that donning area is different than the nursing station or the clinical area, and the doffing area attached with the washroom. Now, when in case of doffing area, we have to consider two things mainly. That is, the room should not be the air entry of that room should not be in any other room. The exhaust fan should be placed maintaining a negative pressure so that the infection will not come out of that room. That we have to consider. And the biomedical waste management, the most important thing. Now, as we all know, with respect to COVID-19, waste management, it does not change the rules which we have given as per the MPCD guidelines 2016. The same rules we are following, but only change is the packaging of it and the transportation of it. That we all know, packaging should be a double-layered yellow bag, labeled separately, weighing separately, and your local vendor who will be collecting your waste bins has to be informed formally that these many patients have been admitted and will be area. We have separated our biomedical waste area accordingly. Now, moving forward, I would like to demonstrate personal protective equipment, donning and doffing. Basically, I hope it will be visible to you all. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, one of my staff will actually demonstrate the donning and doffing of PPE for you all. We all know that we have many videos which have came out from CDC, from WHO, even from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the AIMS video and everything. But just to have put on light on it, and just to have a clearer knowledge, we would like to share the donning and doffing of PPE for you all. Yeah, now this setup which we have planned is just a seminar room. So I will be telling you the actual practices. No, I cannot reveal the actually donning doffing area since the patients are there in the hospital. So in this room only, we can just segregate the area and we'll try to do that. Yes, just give me a second. Reshma. I will be introducing you to one of our staff. She is an infection control nurse, Miss Reshma Nair, which will be demonstrating you all for the donning and doffing area and the hand washing. Yes. एक मिनट में आ सकते. Yes.
Hello.
I hope she's visible.
Can you please keep the camera a little down because we can't see the tests.
Yes.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Hello.
Yes,
is it okay now, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah, am I audible?
Try ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಬೇಡ.
Visible, no, ma'am? Okay, ma'am. We'll start.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Can I start now?
Yes, yes, ma'am. So she's Reshma Nair, our infection control nurse. We will be demonstrating for you the donning and doffing of PP and the hand washing
Good.
procedure.
Very clear.
Am I clear? Am I clear, sir? Uh, so is it audible? Hello. Is it audible, sir? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Can you stop it? Yeah, audible. Okay, okay, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
She's
Visible.
visible to. Yes. Okay, okay. So
Yes,
should we
yes.
start, ma'am?
Yes, yes, start.
Okay, okay. First of all, as we all know, to be very frank, the PP practices and hand hygiene practices plays a very vital role with this COVID-19 aspects. So we'll first starts with the hand washing, which would be of 20 seconds. All of us know the hand washing steps and movements of hand hygiene. The movements of hand hygiene would be before entering the patients, after touching the patients, before any clean or aseptic procedures, after any uh, uh, hello, after coming in contact with blood or body fluids, and after contacting with patient's environment. With hello, hello, hello.
Yes, yes, continue.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay, ma'am. So with these five movements of hand hygiene coming in, taking into consideration, we will showing the steps of hand hygiene. As we all know, she will not use any yes. She will just show you the steps for your consideration. So it should be the palm to palm. Take adequate soap solution so that you will not contaminate the hand washing surface again and again. So it is palm to palm. Right palm over left hand with finger interlaced and vice versa. Palm to palm with finger interlaced. Interlocking of the fingers, rubbing back of the palm, rubbing each finger and side part, and vice versa. Cupped fingers moving backward and forward, vice versa. Circular rotatory movements till your wrist and till your elbow based on your medical and surgical hand washing and cleaning of your hands. Now, with respect of PPE, it should be considered that you should have a buddy with you for helping with the PPE, even with the doffing and donning. If you have a buddy, he should also have a fully donned PPE in case of your doffing. Now we know with the staff's scarcity and everything, if you do not have buddy, we can show you both the ways like how you can maintain the infection control practices and still follow the PPE donning and doffing. Now she has done just the hand washing. Now she'll start with the donning of PPE. Now we have different sort of PPE which we have in our hospital. It's a hood system, it's a gown system, but the COVID kit is the basic thing. Yeah. So we'll start. She has done the hand washing. She will first wear the clean gloves. We can call it as a surgical gloves.
Madam,
We all should. Hello. We all should consider the staff who is going inside the COVID area has to have his dinner or lunch or the breakfast, whatever is there. Then she has to use the washroom before going to the COVID area. Since like it is based on the Hello. Hello. Sir, is it audible?
you are audible.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Please
So
proceed.
she has to
You are
use
very much
the,
audible.
yeah. So these are very, very practical things which guidelines will not mention as per the things, but these are very practical things which we have faced with our staff. She has to use the washroom because she has to be inside for 6 to 8 hours. Like these are very practical things which we should consider. Yeah, thank you. So after the clean gloves, she will use the hood now, the COVID kit actually. Now, as you can see, she has worn the COVID kit, but she has not put the hood on because there are guidelines for each of every PPE a donning system. Yes. Now the next thing we should do is a foot cover. You can have both in your donning and doffing area a clean chair and dirty chair for the staff to sit. Even in the wards, even in the ICUs, you can have this chair system. Yes. Now, if you could see, is she visible? If you could see, she has worn now the old COVID kit. Now, the next thing which she will wear is the N95 respirator. Now, there are clear CDC guidelines given for N95 respirator. First, you have to place your N95 respirator in your hand, in the cuffed hand, with the strips outside. You have to first wear the lower strip and the upper strips. Now, there is something called as seal check or the fit testing for it. Fit testing for N95 respirator. Now, we don't have a fit testing hood in every hospital, but it's a simple method which our CDC guidelines, even our Government of India airborne infection control guidelines teaches us. That is, we have a notch-like thing on N95 respirator, which you have to adjust as per your nose shape. Yeah. Then you have to hold the N95 respirator in a cuffed hand and blow from inside. If she could feel any air entries from N95 respirator, then the C check is not. But she has not filled anything. So N95 respirator is fit for her. The next thing which you can wear is the cap. Now, while donning of PPE, you should consider that the cap, the mask, the goggles, everything you will put from. Sorry, ma'am. I could hear the
Yeah, please
voice.
proceed.
Should we
We can
continue?
hear
Yeah.
you.
Okay. 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 Okay.
And
Okay, sir. Okay.
so one
After
information we want
cap.
to give you. 1 minute. We want to
Yes.
give one
Yes. Sir.
information. See, normally we mute our mics so that your voice is audible to all the delegates.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So by chance, if you don't hear us, but think that you are already listening you very well. So you please
Okay.
proceed.
Sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Sir. Yes. Yes. Thank you, sir. So after the cap, we will be have the hood inside. If you now we have two things over here. If you have a goggle, she can show you, or a face shield. Yeah. So first she'll wear the goggle. The And she will wear the face shield. At the end, uh, just a second, sir.
You please keep the the camera a little away so that we can see you
Yes,
well.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's
yes.
clear. Clear.
Clear, sir?
Yeah, it's clear. Please proceed. It's clear.
Okay. Because I cannot see in my phone, sir. It's clear, no,
Okay.
for you, sir?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
clear. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So after facial, she will finally wear a surgical gloves or sterile gloves entering into the patient's area. Now my healthcare worker is ready to go inside the patient's area. Now, if you have a buddy with you, you just have to first check for the PPE turning and doffing for the any leak of the PPE or any breach in the infection control or breach in the PPE before entering into the patient's area for the safety of both the patients and the healthcare worker. So that is the case. I would like to share with you all that like if we don't have an actual setup, so we will show the doffing area right away here. The donning and doffing of it. Donning, so we have seen the doffing of PPE right away. Since we have don't have this, since we have not could not arrange the different setup for it, so we will I will request that we could show the doffing here only. Yes, sir. So
Yes, please.
now, yes, okay. Now again, for the doffing, we have to have a two chairs, that is clean and dirty chairs, which we have explained earlier. Now, in case of donning, we have done the hand washing and we have started with the donning. Now, in case of doffing, for each and every step, we have to have a hand rub available with us. Yes, and if you have, as I told you, if we have a buddy, then buddy should be wearing entire PPE for your doffing, and then he should help us. So now first, yeah, she is now in the doffing area. Before that, I would like to add that there should be a separate labeled bins for each and every PPE which you will be discarding. The discarding and decontamination of the PPE and all other materials I will explain it. Now with the doffing, each and every steps of hand washing has to be performed. She has used the hand rub. Now she will sit on the dirty chair and first remove the shoe cover. Now, with removing of shoe cover, we have to consider the crisscrossing of the legs should not be there, just to avoid the cross contamination. Yeah, the shaky movement of each and every PPE should be avoided, as the aerosol which will be there on your PPE will be circulating in the air, which we have to prevent. Now, as she has removed the shoe cover, she will again use the hand rub. She'll remove the first pair of gloves. Now, while removing first pair of gloves, she will pinch it from one hand and then remove it. Will be discarded into the designated bin. Yeah. Again, she will use the hand rub with the all 7 to 8 steps of hand wash. Now after this, she will first remove her face shield. Now, while removing the face shield, she will just slightly bend down just to minimize the aerosol entering into the air. After she'll remove her goggles, hood, cap, from backward to forward, hand rub, then she'll remove her goggles. Finally, the hood. Even if it is a gown or it is a hood, it has to be removed in two steps. If it is a gown, you have to first roll down the gown till your elbow and then remove. If it is a hood, you have to roll down the hood till your waist and then you have to remove it. Now you should remove the hood along with your last pair of gloves. Now, for removal of respirator, you have to have a separate pair of clinical gloves, which you should not have. She will use the bare hand. So you have to remove the respirator the way you have put in. That is lower strip and upper strip. First, you have to remove. You have to bend down a little and remove the strips. As you can see, she has not shaken and no shaky movement she has followed. In the doffing area, you have to have a ball ready with 1% sodium hypochlorite and a small cotton balls for wiping the upper part of your shoes. Again, she'll wipe the upper part of the shoes. She'll just show you the movement. As you can see, she has avoided the crisscrossing of the legs to prevent the cross contamination. You have to have a mop ready dipped in 1% sodium hypochlorite. You have to just dap your foot on that and move out of the doffing area. After this, she'll directly go into the bathing zone after hand washing. She will bathe and then she will move out from the COVID area. Thank you so much, Reshma. After this, we will be just sharing the disinfection protocols which we follow. Now we have now we have divided our the cleaning facilities. A checklist we have prepared for basically for OPD, for the triaging area, for the wards, for the ICUs, and likewise, our housekeeping staff are well trained in all these things. Now, before this, every PPE will be put into the yellow bags, separately labeled as COVID-19, a double-layered yellow bag which will be going to the MPCB. Now for it will be depend on the local vendor. Now every label has to have a weight, the date of disposal, the area from where the bins has been collected, way of it, and who has given that waste. At every week, as we all know, the biomedical waste management record has been maintained every weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. So likewise, we have to maintain the waste record, which is a very important thing with respect of COVID-19. Apart from that, now the disinfection protocol, we strictly follow a deep cleaning protocol twice each shift. For example, in morning we have designated time of 9 to 10 and 12 to 1. So likewise, each and every shift we will be deep clean our every instrument used in the ICU, used in the wards, used in the OPD area, and used in the triage area. For example, now we strictly follow the mopping, the dry and wet mopping, and we strictly avoid the grooming of the things. Now each and everything, what do I mean by each and everything is cleaning of floors, table, lockers, light switch, telephone, stethoscope, BP cup, everything. Before that, I will just like to mention that before creating this area for COVID, we have strictly followed that the non-essential furnitures which we have, non-essential furnitures or the articles we have removed first and foremost to avoid any other nuisance or to avoid any fomites as such with the infection control point of view. And we have kept only necessary articles which will be easily cleaned. What do I mean by easily cleaned is minimum paper, so fomite will be avoided. If it is a telephone, only one telephone has to be used which we can clean easily. So all these items which you can clean easily has to be kept there. All the other non-essential furnitures has to be removed from that COVID area. So these all which we have set up from our side. If you have any queries or questions, if I could answer, or if I can get any guidance or any suggestions for it, I will be more than happy, ma'am.
No, question answer session we'll have at the end. You can continue.
Okay. I would also like to add that we have maintained the visitors entry. Now we don't have any of the patients visitors in our hospital, or if they could enter into the hospital, there is separate designated area given to the visitors. For example, even if it is a suspect patient or it is a positive patient, we have kept the area separate for the visitors. The communicating first persons with the visitors has to have to maintain the distance. And also we follow the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare guidelines for each area, what type of PPE to be used. Now when I talk about PPE, there is something or when I talk about the isolation facilities or the ICU setup, there is something called as dead body disposal. Message.
Okay. Yeah. Meanwhile,
I'm so sorry for the internet connection. Am I visible and audible now?
regarding the percentage of classes which have been completed till now.
I'm so sorry, sir. Sir,
You are not visible.
Am I visible now?
No, you are not visible.
Am I visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
I could not hear
Yes.
the question, ma'am.
No, you can continue.
Yeah, okay. So we were talking about the dead body disposal. Now, dead body disposal after closing each and every opening with 1% sodium hypochlorite, we have to clean that entire body with 1% sodium hypochlorite. Then you have to close. If relatives has to be seen, they have to be given a full PPE, and with the distance they can see the disease. Then it has to be wrapped in the Ziploc cover. That cover has to be first the mortuary sheet, then the Ziploc cover with the 1% sodium hypochlorite again. Then the body with the district authorities' permission. Now here we follow the Raigad Jilla district commissioner's order. With the district commissioner, that dead body has to be directly go to the crematorium. If the relatives are not available, it can be kept in a separate mortuary area where the spraying of that 1% sodium hypochlorite is available. Now, relatives has to be informed and counseled well that dead body can the disease cannot be taken into home, and no embalming should be avoided. It has to be directly go into the crematorium. We have our consent form for the same, and the instructions given both in the, it's a bilingual consent, it's a bilingual information cards which we have distributed to each and every relatives in our hospital. Yes. So this is the dead body disposal. Then I would like to add that your mortuary area, the mortuary staff has to be well trained in the cleaning and disinfection facilities. Now, irrespective of the dead body or irrespective of the suspected or positive dead bodies keeping in the mortuary, we are following the strict protocols of spraying 1% sodium hypochlorite every hourly in the mortuary to avoid any infection breach in the infection control. And that's all from my side.
Yes, anything about the ICU setup? What type of care that you are offering?
Yes. Now we have our, as I told you, triaging area, wards and ICU setup are being different, and the now type of care we have divided our patients, we have divided our area, even in the COVID area, that is suspected and positive area different. In the positive side, mild, moderate, and severe symptoms wise patients we have divided, but every cubicle has this double door entry and the anti room facilities basically. Now with the suspected also mild, moderate, severe, and with the positive also mild, moderate, severe, the treatment modalities which we are right now following with respect to the patient's clinical conditions. Now with the I would like to mention the ICU setup is the cleaning of the ventilation. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, with the ICU,
Continue.
with the ICU setup and the cleaning and reusing. Now this reusable items which plays again a great challenge for us, because as you know the source constraints, but we tried our maximum that the reusable items are avoided with the COVID patients. We used only single use devices with respect to everything, and with disinfection of every articles which will be used for the patient, which are using for the patients, we disinfect then, and then we have a separate room provided for that in our ICU, where the disinfection of articles which will be done. Now with the treatment modalities, we follow a standard treatment guidelines given by MOH and FW, and that would be our hospital protocol along with the MOH FW guidelines.
What type of patients usually are admitted in ICUs?
Hello.
What type of patients are
Now we
admitted in
have all
ICUs?
severe cases. Now we have a SARI. We have a positive. We have a positive cases with the SARI and with non-SARI also. So the patients which are with the SARIs, we have a rate of SARI nowadays with the census of March to May. We have a SARI patients admitted in a hospital. It is more of number, ma'am. So we have a SARI cases more in number, ma'am.
Winner.
Conducted, what will be the procedures?
One second. Hello.
What type of procedures?
Hello. Madam, can you hear me?
No.
No.
What type of procedure?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಾಗ ಅಮ್ಮ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿ ನಿನ್ನೆ ನಾವು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ.
Dr.
What
Larissa,
type of patients
madam?
do you see? What type of procedures are you performing? Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, I can hear. Hello.
ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಅಂತ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes,
But we
yes.
can't hear you. We can't hear you. Larissa, madam, can you hear me? Dr. Larissa?
Yes, yes, I can hear. Yes, yes, sir.
ಇದು ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್
Rajeshwari, madam, can you hear me?
ನಾನು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು
Madam, namaste, Rajeshwari madam. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, madam? Can you hear me?
Hello?
No?
Not coming. Not here.
Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear now?
Hello? Yes.
Madam, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear?
Hello?
Okay, you please talk. Please talk.
Yes.
audio off ಆಗಿದೆ.
Hello?
ತೆಗಿದೆ.
Hello,
Hello?
Priyanka?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you continue.
Hello?
Priyanka, can you hear?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear.
You can hear?
Yeah. So what type of procedures
talking.
are you performing in
I can't hear.
ICUs?
Yeah.
Can I speak?
No.
Yes, yes.
Can you please log off and log in again?
ಅದಪ್ಪ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ
Am I audible now?
23/5 ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಾನು 20 ಇದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಅದೊಂದು ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ.
Hello?
ಅದೇ ಅವ್ರು ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ನೋಡಿ ಅಮ್ಮ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡು.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Rajeshwari madam?
Sir?
ಟುಡೇ ನನ್ಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡಿ ಕೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ನನಗೆ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Yeah. Rajeshwari madam, can you hear me? Dr. Rajeshwari madam, can you hear me? Madam, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Sir, can you hear?
Yeah. Who is this?
Hello, can you hear, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Larissa
ಇಲ್ಲ,
madam,
ಇಲ್ಲ.
I can. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So I request all the people to
Yes, Priyanka.
ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ವಿಲ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್.
Okay, I request all to show the thumbs up if you can hear, please.
ಅದು ನಾಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ
Show your
ಪೇಷಂಟ್
thumbs up
ಕೇರ್
if you
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
can hear.
ನಮಗೆ
Rajeshwari
ಪೇಷಂಟ್
madam?
ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸೇ ಬೇಕು ವಿತ್ ಡ್ರಿಪ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ.
Madam, can you hear me, Rajeshwari madam? Hello, Rajeshwari madam, can you hear me?
ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Okay, thank you for the excellent presentation. There was some technical glitches in between,
No.
maybe because of some internet issue.
Technical problem.
Now, may I request Dr. Larissa to ask some questions to the
Yes, sir.
speaker? There are some questions you can
Yeah.
see. You can please shoot the questions to her.
Yes. Yes. So what type of procedures are performed in the ICUs for the patients?
ಇದು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ
What type of procedures
The
are you
voice is
performing for the
breaking,
patients?
sir, actually.
Please proceed, Dr. Larissa.
Yeah, what type of procedures are performed for the ICU patients?
Well, I think she is not able to hear. Now we can proceed on to the. Yeah, please proceed. Yes. Go ahead.
Actually, she was. I thought she was asking about the what type of procedures were carrying out in the ICU. So we
Yeah.
have around 200 now currently admitted 200 with various types of patients. So we have a patients on dialysis. We have a patients who are intubated. We have a patients who are requiring other ICU care. So for dialysis, we have a separate designated cubicle which will be there only for the COVID positive dialysis patients. So we follow all the MHFW dialysis guidelines. All the dialysis tubings and everything it's maintained as a single use, and we disinfect each and every dialyzer after each use. Then after, along with that, apart from dialysis, we have aerosol generating procedures such as the intubation or all other ICU procedures which we follow in our ICU. And we take all type of procedures. We don't distinguish that, okay, COVID positives are only mild cases. As I told you, we have a mild, moderate, severe. So all the ICU, all the critical care procedures has been taken into consideration. Also, we have a separate minor operation theater setting separately for the COVID area, which we do not mix up with our major OTs. So we also take the COVID. For example, I can share you one experience. We had a case with the road traffic accident of road traffic accident basically. So when we think about road traffic accident, nobody will think that road traffic accident would occur. But it has occurred, and we have taken the swab. He tested positive, and still we have operated himself. So even our minor OT in the or the dialysis are continued in this COVID, sir. Yes. So we have those areas separate basically. I think she was asking the same. I hope I have answered.
Yes. During the donning of, if the nurse removes the N95 mask in the donning area itself, there is a possibility of getting infected, right? The N95 masks are removed before other things could be removed. Is there a possibility of she getting infected?
I cannot hear anybody, sir.
Okay. Can I hear? Can I talk? Can I ask Dr. Larissa?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. See, there is a question from Soumya. During doffing, if she removes N95 mask in the doffing area itself, she will be infected with the aerosol generated. Is it correct? Is it true?
Yeah, the question is right, sir. I respect that question. But however, the doffing area is the only area which we likewise I said, sir. Every area of our hospital, may it be a ward, may it be a OPD setting, may it be a ICU. If we don't have a centralized air conditioning, we have created a negative pressure rooms with the exhaust ventilation. So even in our doffing area, we have created a negative pressure zone, sir, and which is attached to the bathing facility. So that way we have taken care of the aerosol generation with the N95 respirator. So if we, for example, sir, we cannot have a separate room with the resource constraints. So we cannot have a separate room just to remove our N95 respirator. So practically speaking, if you have a single room for the doffing area, you can create a negative pressure rooms with the exhaust fan, and you can remove the N95 respirator. But you see, there is a technique. So if you just bend down and put tips down and end shaky movement of any of the PPE, your aerosol generation is any which ways low down. So, and to be very to prove it as a evidence-based practice, we have also taken a swabs like air quality testing we have done, sir, and we have tested it, sir. So it will not create the aerosol generation, maybe. Yes. So that's why we have taken care.
Yeah, thank you for the nice answer. There is one question from Gracie Lobo. All types of procedures done as it is considered as critical patient with respiratory problems. What is your say on this?
All types of procedure. I didn't understand. All type of procedure.
I'll read the question to you. From Gracie Lobo. All type of procedures done as it is considered as critical, thinking that the patient is very critical with respiratory problems. Even I am not understanding a complete question properly, but what I could feel is, what are the problems faced the patient with respiratory issues, acute respiratory issues in this case?
Yes. What I understood from this question is, as I told you, we have divided the patients in the mild, moderate, severe. That is the semi-critical and critical patients. So with the critical patients, so we follow 8. Like we don't see. For example, sir, every patient has been treated with a universal precaution. Likewise, every patient we considered as a COVID positive case. So with full precaution taken, we can perform all the type of procedures with if you take the full precautions. And moreover, other than the PPE, the patients from the source control, which we say, source control has to be maintained. Means, for example, if the patient has a mild, even if the patient has mild symptoms or just a fever, just a headache, not any respiratory symptoms, then also patient should wear an N95 mask. So each and every patient from right from our triaging area till the isolation till the discharge will be wearing the N95 respirator, irrespective of his respiratory symptoms. If we do that way, we have a source control, and then the risk of exposure would be less.
Okay,
I
thank
hope I
you,
have.
Dr. Larissa. Can you continue the question?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes.
We can
So
hear
what
you
is
well.
the dead body disposal? Yeah. What is the dead body disposal methods that is to be followed? Whether it is burning or incineration? Mr. Kiran.
Nonsense.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you please
Yes.
ask the question
What is the
again,
dead
Dr.
body?
Larissa?
What is the, yes, the question is by Mr. Kiran, what is the dead body disposal methods that is to be followed? Whether burning or incineration? What is the protocol for it?
It's a deep
Protocol
burial.
for dead body disposal. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. The protocol given by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, that is a government of India's guidelines, which says that it's a deep burial, ma'am.
Okay, deep burial. Okay, thank you. What is the disinfection policy followed in the commonly to be followed in the hospital?
And
What
ma'am,
are the disinfectants? Disinfection
we
policies.
follow standard protocol of 1% sodium hypochlorite solution, ma'am. The solution concentration will differ according to the area to be disinfect. So all the areas is 1% sodium hypochlorite solution, ma'am. Basically,
Okay.
we don't follow any
So
other
there's a-
guidelines.
Okay, thank you. So there is a question by Rosamma
And we
Joseph.
also have
In the doffing area, whether all staff will be using the same bottle of hand rubs?
ma'am, as I told you, we have a buddy resident. If you could see my video, the person who was dropping has not touched the bottle of hand rub. Yeah, there is always a buddy present. So buddy will be wearing a full PPE, and every time the staff will change. So we have a six hourly duty staff. For example, if the six staffs are the changing, the buddy will be same, obviously. And after each doffing session, every entire area will be the spraying of 1% sodium hypochlorite will be done, sir. And we have a small, what that is what we have also faced, ma'am. We have a small containers of sodium hand rubs, ma'am. So one day we with the one person, almost a half bottle finishes, ma'am. So we have taken care in that way, ma'am. But the person who is doffing will not use will not touch the hand rub, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. How do we triage the asymptomatic cases if you send a non-COVID area if they are asymptomatic?
Yeah. So as I told you, ma'am, we have a fever OPD setting. From fever OPD only, we have a standard checklist which is given by NCDC, National Central Disease of Control, Government of India. In that case, ma'am, if the patient doesn't have that four classical symptoms, any of the respiratory symptoms nil, fever nil, and any of the travel history nil, any of the comorbidities conditions which will relate in COVID, or the environmental, for example, the epidemiological link for the COVID is nil, then that patient can be entered into the non-COVID area, that is our usual emergency disaster ED department. So asymptomatic, the question is quite different. Asymptomatic. Even if the patient is asymptomatic, we have to see all other links. Yeah, even the patient is asymptomatic, we have to see all other links. For example, epidemiological, any contact with the positive patient 14 days, any contact with the suspected cases in days. Has he has any travel history? Has he any if it is to consider. So accordingly, if these all questions are answered well, then only that asymptomatic can enter into the COVID area. But if you have a slightest doubt of asymptomatic with any of these risks, we will get into the COVID area where the mild symptomatic are placed, and then the testing will be done accordingly. The patient will be treated further.
Okay, there's a question by
I hope
Vidya
I'm
Evi
clear.
Hiramat. Whether wearing the PP continuously for 6 hours, will there any complications or problems are there for health workers?
Yes, we have a experience. It is very difficult to have previously though we used to have a 8 hours duty, ma'am, with the full PPE, but we also have a interview session. We have divided the team, ma'am. So the team will work for 3 days, and the 3 connection. Yeah. So am I audible now?
You are audible but not visible, but you can please proceed. Yes, yes, please
Yeah.
proceed.
Yeah. Okay. So, Starling, the difficulties which we have experienced from the experience sharing by our staff is only they sometimes they sometimes find a breathing difficulty or any something like that. But other than that, we have not faced any other difficulties, or we have not got any response from my staff that wearing this PPE 6 hourly which cause any other discomfort, ma'am. We have not came across.
Okay. So what about the position given for the patient, the prone position which is being advocated, being effective for the patient in ICU? So what is your say on that?
It is again, ma'am, a clinical decision wise. Now we have our critically ill patients with SARI. Those are intubated, which we cannot give the prone position. But apart from that, we follow some like Ayush guidelines, ma'am, which they say that gargling with betadine gargling, keeping warm water. So that we follow. Positioning for every critical patient is not possible, not practically possible, ma'am. So we have faced this in a hospital, which is not practically possible. But we do follow with the mild cases, ma'am, not with the moderate and critically ill, ma'am.
So there is a question by Grisha Jose. How often should the ICU nurses be screened for COVID? Is there any guidelines given?
There are no specific guidelines given, ma'am, which I have not came across, but we do follow. Likewise, I said we have a shift, we have a batch separated. So after each batch finishes her duty in the COVID area, they are screened, ma'am, every 14 days, ma'am.
What is the protocol for disinfection of ventilator? Asked by Soumya Matthew.
Deep cleaning,
Protocol
ma'am.
for disinfection of ventilator.
Deep, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. After each, likewise, each shift, ma'am, twice a day. Each shift twice in each shift. The every area, may it be a ventilator, may it be any of the instrument, which will be deep clean with 1% sodium hypochlorite, ma'am.
10% sodium hypochlorite.
1%
So what
sodium hypochlorite.
1% sodium hypochlorite. Okay. So what about the disinfecting the COVID patient's room?
Yeah. After each discharge, every area will be obviously clean, obviously deep clean. After the discharge, if we have vehicle free, we fumigate, ma'am. We follow the fumigation protocol basically
Okay.
with ethanol.
Okay, there's a question. Yeah, there's a question by Anasuya. Ventilator connection tubings can be disposed, but how does the ventilator after you disinfect, you use for the patients? How soon do you use it?
Ventilator set, the
After
entire
disinfection,
ventilator
how do you use
setting.
it? Yes.
Each shift, any which ways it will, each shift, ma'am, any which ways it will be deep cleaned twice. So we take a swab, ma'am, and then it can be used, ma'am. We do a swab testing basically, ma'am.
Swab testing. Okay, thank you. So what about the reuse of N95 masks? Because there is a shortage of N95 masks. There are different guidelines of using for so a few days, more than one day. So what is this current protocol that says or anything?
Ma'am, in our hospital, with the staff which were in direct care of the COVID positive patient, we don't reuse the N95 respirator mask. But in other areas, we follow the guidelines given by the video was shared by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which we have 4 pockets ready and 4 masks. Then, if one mask you are using on first day, it can be directly used on 5th day, providing it will be have a direct sunlight exposure. For other areas, not with the COVID area, ma'am, we don't reuse the mask.
So reusing time, any protocols to be followed?
For
Reusing time,
N95,
any protocol to be followed? Yes, yes.
ma'am, I could as per the CDC guidelines, it is am I audible?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Yes.
Let us do one thing, Larissa madam. There seems to be some internet
Yes.
difficulty. What we will do, we will ask the question, and we will mute our the mic. And once the speaker answers, then we can switch on the mic again. Okay, madam? Okay. Please
Network will not read.
ask the question, madam. Please.
What
Sorry,
is the
ma'am,
protocol for reuse of N95 masks? So what protocol should the healthcare
Yeah.
worker follow?
Yes, ma'am. So as per CDC guidelines, ma'am, there is no reuse of N95 respirator. There is extended use of N95 respirator, which is also our National Health and Family Welfare guidelines are suggesting. That is, if your N95 respirator is not soiled, not moist, you can use it. You can use it for extended use. For example, if I'm wearing for today, so I can number the paper pocket as 1, and I can use it on 5th day of my work. So likewise, we are doing that. I cannot hear,
Madam,
ma'am.
please switch on your mic. Madam. Larissa, madam. Please switch on your mic and say.
So what are the PPE alters our sense of feel, hear, and touch. So while examining the patient, so what are the intervention that can be done to overcome this?
I think the speaker has lost her internet connection because it has already exceeded more than an hour. Hello? 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 Larissa, madam, can you hear me? Please switch on your mic, madam. Switch on your mic. Yeah, I think
I can hear,
she has
sir.
got some issues. She has got some issues with internet. Being a senior nursing professional, you'd be able to answer few questions posed by the audience there. Is it possible to answer few, madam?
Sure.
Yeah. See, there is a question from Mahalakshmi, whether it is compulsory to test all staffs, those who are working in COVID-19 ward, even though they are asymptomatic. That is the question. Larissa, madam? Hello, Larissa madam. Madam, can you hear me? Oh, well, Dr. Larissa is joining again. Hello, madam. Hello, madam. Hello. Hello. Madam, can you hear me? Larissa madam, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. There seems to be some internet issue. We will wait for a minute. Hopefully, it will be corrected. Meanwhile, yeah, there are a few questions coming in. There are a few questions coming in from. Okay. See, many people are saying they are not able to hear. Maybe. Hello. Um, Larissa, madam, can you kindly give the concluding remarks? Please give the concluding remarks, madam. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear? Yeah. Can you hear me? No. But okay. Okay. Yeah. Delegates, are you able to listen to me? Are you able to hear me? If so, please type yes, so that we can find out the problems over there. Please type yes over there. Okay, thank you for confirming that you are listening to me. Hopefully, she will regain her internet connection. Meanwhile, hello. Yeah, the COVID has taught us in such a way we have to be ready for everything. Say, for example, these internet connections, learning, with a long distance and all, it is really a challenging one. Hopefully, Dr. Larissa will join us. Madam, if you can hear, please show your thumb. Larissa, madam. If you can hear me, please show your thumb. Larissa, madam. Okay, she is not audible. Well, say, I think we are not able to secure a connection with her. We are thankful to everyone for your participation today. We were supposed to have Dr. Rajesh today, but she had an urgent call. She could not make it. Hope she will try to join in the next session. They have done, really a wonderful work in Mysore because by establishing, a hospital, a good hospital, which has kept to the needs of many people, which is appreciated by, the district commissioner yesterday also. And I believe all of you are working in a wonderful manner for the best of the mankind. It is really appreciable that all, the healthcare workers are working, especially the nurses. Hopefully, we will have Girijambaji with us very soon. Maybe then she'll be able to answer a few of your questions. Oh, wonderful. Ms. Satira has joined. Ms. Satira, welcome to you. Hello. The speaker has joined. Hello. Oh, very nice. Dr. Larissa has also joined. Can you hear me, Dr. Larissa? No. Yes? No. Ms. Atira, can you hear me? Hello. Yeah. Good. My activity is there. Hello.
Hello. So sorry, there was some internet connection which we were facing. Hello.
We can hear you. So welcome back. Welcome back to you. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. I
Can
can
you hear me,
now,
Ms.
sir.
Atira?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, excellent. So what I will do, I will be. There are a few questions asked by the some of your friends. Let me read out a few questions here. Okay. Yeah. Welcome, Dr. Nanprakash is back.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. See, there are a few questions.
Sir, there's a message from USA.
No, just a minute. No. See, wait a minute. There is a small suggestion. When someone is talking, after they complete, please give 1 second pause. Then you start talking. Okay, Nanprakash?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Now
Can you repeat, Mr. Voice disturb ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ?
ಈಗ how
The
now?
voice disturb ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. Voice cut.
Okay. Miss Atira, can you hear me? Is my voice clear? Whether my voice is clear, Atira? Okay, yeah. Okay, now you check once again, Dr. Nandaprakash. Please click on your mic and check it once again. Click on your mic. Nandaprakash ji, please click on your
Yes,
mic.
sir. Yes, sir. It's
Yeah,
okay.
is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. See, the resource person is there. Dr. Larissa is there. You can ask few questions. We have around 2 to 3 minutes now. Let us have a logical conclusion, please.
Sir, yes, sir, there is a call from USA. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of my colleague working in USA, she want to share her feelings. Can you connect me here, sir?
I have already sent her the invitation. I don't think she has joined.
She's struggling to join there. There may be some problem, technical problem. Sir,
No,
she's sharing on
you please start
videos,
asking questions. No, you please start asking question to the speaker. She'll be able to answer.
Sir, there is one video she sent now, sir. They sent one video.
No, we are
now.
not
Can
able
you,
to,
can you share that?
no, we are not able to play it now. It's taking time. It's taking time.
So can you play the video,
Yeah.
sir?
No, we are facing problem in playing it because the internet issue.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. So you ask some questions
Hello.
to the.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, madam. Larissa, yes,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
There is a question from Kanakarata saying that the soap and water or detergent can be used for cleaning the surface. Soap and water or a detergent need to be used to clean the surface. Priyanka, madam.
No, ma'am. It will be better if it is a COVID area, ward OPD or IPD setting. It has to have a 1% sodium hypochlorite, ma'am, as a disinfectant.
Okay. Sodium hypochlorite has to be used. Okay. What are the various methods that could be used to handle the patients who are critically ill when you are already having other comorbidities?
In various methods, as in treatment modalities.
Yeah, if you're already having a comorbidities, whether the treatment modality in ICU, does it vary or anything extra that need to be done compared to others who doesn't have a comorbidity?
In that case, you have to in that scene, ma'am, you have to first look after the respiratory symptoms. The patient has to be revert back with the respiratory side first, and then the COVID part can be done, and then the comorbidities can be dealt with.
Okay. What about the nurses who are carrying? If they're already having a comorbidity, is there any risk that if they are posted, they may have any issues?
If it is a full PPE use, ma'am, is the standard precautions used while caring for the patients, and if we have the less exposure with the nurses, it will not affect much, ma'am.
Dr. Nandaprakash, do we have any questions?
Sir, Mike?
Yeah, you please switch on the mic, and if you have any queries, please proceed.
Sir,
Mike, yeah, proceed.
the nurse working in ICU.
Yeah.
So the preferable hours, maybe 3 hours or 4 hours or maybe 6 hours. Preferable.
Can you repeat your question? She is not able to understand.
Working in ICU.
For the staff,
Yes, madam. For nursing officer working in ICU. So actually, we used to work 6 hours, no?
6 hours.
6. It is 6 hours, no? For continuously wearing the PPE, she
Yes.
continuously wearing the PPE, and also workload also very much high comparing to the general patient.
I didn't understand, sir. The work time, I can answer from myself. The work time in our hospital maintained for the staff, irrespective of the IPD or OPD setting, is 6 hours, sir. So
Sir,
it
I know.
will minimize the discomfort with PPE. It will minimize the risk exposure of the staff. So many things can be sorted out if we the 6 hours duties.
Okay. So we have exceeded a lot of time today. Is there any concluding remarks you want to do, Dr. Larissa? Larissa, madam, you can please conclude. Okay, Dr. Nand Prakash, you can please conclude the session. Yeah.
Sir, shall I play the video, sir?
Yeah, you can play the video.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be. It is not clear, Nand Prakash ji.
Clear? Okay.
So we can take it in the next session. Maybe in the next session.
Okay, madam. Then
We can take it in the next session. So thank you all for joining with us. And we are very sorry there were some technical issues here. There was some disconnection in between. It's mainly because of the internet issue. Because morning we had a very nice talk by Miss Priyanka. She explained very well, and we really appreciate for the effort what she is doing. And we really appreciate the patience of Dr. Larissa sitting for more than an hour here and listening to the speaker and interacting with her. And Dr. Nand Prakash could join finally, like God comes in the end after a lot of penance. So thanks to everyone. Thank you for your time. And let us catch up again tomorrow in the morning. We are going to have some, I think tomorrow in the afternoon, we are going to have some wonderful and interesting sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.